talent, a violent vertical edge setter.
We competing today. I see some gas off the edge. Get that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drive. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. Get worse than that.
Yeah. I love the epic nature of that climactic riff. Isn't it good? I love it. I really do. I put it in everything. Hello again, everybody. This is Green Bean. We are back at 10:30 p.m. on a Tuesday night for the After Hours Jets Fest. As many of you know, because probably at least 95% of you were just over at Jets Talk 24/7 with us the last couple of hours talking with Ryan. We had to do it without Matt O'Leary tonight, who I believe was at a baseball game, maybe the Mets. Yeah. I think that's what happened. So Ryan and we got into some drive-in theater talk and all kinds of weird shit. But I'm happy that you guys decided to jump over here with me. We can get into anything that you guys would like to talk about. I will remind you, it helps a great deal. If you're here and you're enjoying yourself at any level, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. It means the world. It changes everything. You'd be surprised how much YouTube depends on it. Those little like clicks. And in addition to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd be grateful if you did that as well. Little rectangular subscribe button. And if you're looking for more Green Bean content and exclusive access, which I'm releasing a whole private 45-minute video to my beanbaggers tomorrow morning. You can get in on that. Join the beanbaggers. The link is in the description. Actually, I forgot to put it in this video, but it's on any of my videos. It says beanbaggers, and I'll put it in this. But all that being said, I want to just thank you guys. As many of you know, I passed 7,000 subscribers this week. Just last week, and I'm at 7,030 or something like that. So I just can't believe it, man. I'm just so grateful for you guys. Being real honest, I never thought that I was going to be on that end of it. All right, it'd be nice if I get 1,000 subscribers. That'd be fun. As you guys know, I was doing Jet Nation, which I still do. I'm giving them a video tomorrow as well. But I was doing the stuff at Jet Nation, and I didn't even have thoughts on doing my own channel. And then one day I just started it, and here we are. So it's only been 14 months, 15 maybe. I think we're entering the 15th month. So I'm really grateful. I am. And I just love the time that I get with you guys to be able to hang out and deconstruct all of these things swirling around our New York Jets. So thanks, guys. Now, this wouldn't be a beginning without Jets Forever's tagline, green heart, telltale tagline. I'm grateful for that, Jets Forever, and I love it. Now, Ryan Jet said he was out at a baseball game tonight. Maybe he was at the same Mets game O'Leary was at. He said he was getting so many looks because he was wearing the Jets hat. Thinking in my head, you all doubters. Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. Look, let him stop and stare. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're at the Mets game. Maybe not. But, dude, I just traveled this entire country for the past 2 years. Many of you guys know that. I was living in my RV. I'm still living in my RV, but only for another week. We were driving around the country, and I wore my Jets hats, as did my son. So my son and I wore Jets hats everywhere, from Miami to New England to Ohio to Michigan to Arizona, Texas, Seattle, Washington. You name it, we wore our Jets hats there. And let me tell you, the only place that was douchey about it was New England. New England, those guys went out of their way to say stuff. It was even young kids were saying shit. But I had a guy who saw my truck. I drive around in a truck that says Green Bean, my face logo on it. Dude, he was texting me daily the whole time I was in New England. It was like, dude, leave me alone. What are you doing? He kept saying you're speeding. But anyway, so I'm with you, bud. I'm with you. John Amarillo's back. John, you going to come to the Coney Island part 2? We're going to do it, I think. We're going to do it. We're going to meet up at the Coney Island Cyclone, Sack Exchange, myself, and I think Ryan and O'Leary said they would be interested in coming as well. Maybe some other folks, Richie, who knows. but we're going to do it the day before opening day. So the Saturday before opening day. It's not 100%, but we're like 90%. We're just figuring out how much commitment. Like, do we get a whole restaurant, rented out kind of a thing, or do we just meet there and do it? So if you guys haven't seen that, I mean, it was a blast, man. John was there with a bunch of other guys and myself, and we went on the very, very famous, iconic Coney Island Cyclone. And as we crested the top, we did the Jets chant. So the world's tallest and fastest Jets chant in the world, in history. I'm sure we could do Guinness. I'm sure we'd make it on Guinness. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to do that again this year, the day before opening day. I'll give you guys all the information as it becomes more solid. But Zach's in, Zach exchanges into stuff like that. So he and I are going to figure it out. Now, Harry decided to get tickets. We were in our monthly classic game watch party for the Beanbaggers, and we were talking about opening day, and he was just like, you know what? First he said, no, I'm not going. By the end of that little hangout, Harry had tickets for opening day. Isn't that something? Now, Harry, you got to tell me when you're coming up. I got a bunch of stuff planned for you guys. Like I said, either Friday or Saturday before the game, one of those nights, I'm going to be performing my first comedy show in 15 years. As you guys know, I was a stand-up comedian for a decade. That's how I made my money, and I was professional. Professional stand-up for a while. But drugs, heroin, crack, booze, that stuff took my dreams away. I had to push reset on my life, but I haven't performed in about 15 years, maybe like 30, maybe think it's 14 years, I'd say. But yeah, man. So we're going to do that. And I hope you guys can come. I'll let you guys know. I'll get you all the info. Think about this. If you're flying in like Harry's coming in from Florida. So if he comes in from Florida, if you come up on like Thursday, you can hang out with me. And let's say Friday night, you come see a Green Bean comedy show. Saturday, we go ride the Coney Island Cyclone, go get some Nathan's hot dogs or whatever. Then Sunday, you watch the Jets beat the Ravens. And then you go home a happy camper. What do you think of that, Harry? Wouldn't that be nice? See, professional. Yeah. Now I'm a professional sit down. That's awesome. So look, this is a show where you guys, it's based on what you guys want to talk about. Like I said, we just talked about all kinds of stuff for 2 hours. This is one where we let our hair down a little bit, kick off our shoes, and we just talk about whatever the chat wants to talk about. Most of the time we stay with Jets, but every now and then we'll veer off a little bit. I wouldn't be talking about Coney Island or comedy if it wasn't for opening day. But so let's see what you guys do. I want to see when Harry's coming up. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Dark Soldier's here. Yeah, Slim God wants in. Yeah, dude. Well, I'm going to be giving you guys the information. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put it on Instagram, and I'll put it on Twitter. And then I'll be announcing it as well. As it's all solid, the comedy show, I'm going to open for fellow Jets fan. He was at the Coney Island Cyclone with us last year. Joe the comic, Joe Conti. He's a New Jersey comedian. I toured all over the place with that guy years ago. He was in my group Bag of Nuts, and we went out to LA together. We did all sorts of stuff. So Joe's still a comic, so I'm going to open for him. So I'll do 20 minutes, and he'll do probably an hour, and that'll be the show. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, right. Jets forever saying MetLife week 1 will be something to remember. I honestly believe that. Like opening day's the best, right? Jets forever. Like I tell you guys that all the time. Since I haven't lived up there, like when I lived up there, I was at every game pretty much. I went to every game for a long time, but since I lived away, I don't do that. I would go to my Miami game when I lived in Florida for 15 years. I went to the Miami Jets game every year, and every now and then I'd fly up for one game. But that's essentially what I've been doing, is going to one game a year because it's hard to get up there. So if I'm going to pick one, it's got to be opening day for me. It really does, because of what Jets Forever is talking about. It's going to be something to remember. That's the most positive day that we can possibly have without a winning season. Like once we're winning, getting up there for a really intense game against the Bills, for first place, like those kinds of games, they were the best. Like years ago, we used to do that all the time. We would be playing for first place and stuff. But we haven't seen that in a long time. So the season's usually over by week 6. So when you get there for opening day, you get that kind of positive vibe. Everybody believes and feels good. So I'm a big opening day guy. But any game you go to is a blast, unless it's like if we really suck and you go to like, a December game, that's a bummer. It really sucks. You're freezing and everything. But last year, remember, we weren't looking too good. And a lot of you guys got to be at the Cincinnati Bengals game. That was an historic game. You guys got to see Mike effing White have such a game, 405 yards, especially because up to that point, we were like dead in the water. So Mike White comes out and throws for 405. Oh my God. That's so crazy. So I wish I was at that game. Somebody offered me tickets too, but I couldn't get up there. But anyway, opening day, we're gonna have an absolute blast. We're all gonna be together too. Like even Let's Talk Jets radio, Tyson in primetime, they're gonna be with us. Gotham City, they're gonna be with us. Obviously, Sack and the Jets Lounge guys, they're gonna be with us. And Ryan, O'Leary, Richie, and Jack. I don't think Ali can make it. I'm not sure yet though, but Ali's another one I'd love to hang out with. But yeah, Buffalo Jets fans going to be there. So yeah, it's going to be a blast. If you guys can get up there, we're going to be tailgating. So you guys can just hang with us. It'd be fantastic. Let's see. Joe Grana says Comedy Cellar. Yeah, that was one of my main spots. I did the Comedy Cellar for like 2 years, like just about every Tuesday and every Wednesday. And I was there all the time. It's tough to get weekend spots, but I got a couple. Yeah, that was my favorite place to play. Like people would say, like if you did well at the Comedy Cellar, it's not really a gauge on how well your act is constructed, because the Comedy Cellar was the best crowds. They were always in the mood to laugh. Like it was always a good time in the Comedy Cellar. It was considered an easy room to play. Now, conversely, Stand Up New York or even Gotham City Comedy Club, or the Gotham Comedy Club, those places were significantly tougher. You go to Stand Up New York, and if you're not on, they just sit there silent and stare at you. Whole different scene, same city, whole different scene. But yeah, I love the Comedy Cellar. I haven't been there in a long time, man. Oh, Brandon says he did stand up for 5 years, but COVID, man. Moved away from New York 14 months ago. Yeah. Hey, man. I don't know where you live, but there's always an open mic around. But that's a bummer, dude. Sorry to hear that. Kevin C checks in and says, Green Bean, how are we feeling about our center position? I think McGovern can hold up okay, but I know there are some doubts. I'm torn on if I feel comfortable at center. Well, clearly the Jets feel comfortable, right? Now, let's not forget, in addition to having Connor McGovern, who PFF labels a top 10 center in the NFL. Now, I thought he had a little bit rougher of a year than top 10, but I definitely see the value there. I mean, look, he had Greg Van Roten on one side and a rookie on the other side, and shuffling, for a little while, the tackles. And then later in the year with the injuries and everything, put LDT in and all this sort of stuff. So Connor McGovern, first year in the system, it's considered a complex system. So I think he did well. He's a solid piece of the line. Now, the interesting thing that Jets fans don't want to hear is that Dan Feeney actually did well as a backup center. Now, not great, but you got to remember, man, like it's hard to get great reserves. You just want guys that can come in for a couple games and be solid. That's what you want. They're not starters for a reason. Now, if you got guys on the pipeline, young guys like what we're doing with Max Mitchell, if he could come in a year or two from, for whatever reason and be a starter, that's what you want. But we have Dan Feeney behind Connor McGovern. Now, there's another guy out there. I firmly believe that we're going to see June 1st moves. That's what I think. Now, an interesting one is that's out there. And this guy, we're releasing Dom C's next article tomorrow morning. It was supposed to be today, but it's ended up being tomorrow. We're releasing Dom C's new article for greenbeanjetsfan.com, and it's all about some potential free agents that are still out there. So one that is on his list, and I can't believe he's still out there, is center JC Treader. So I don't know if the Jets are done there. I think that they might still bring someone in. And if you can get JC Treader, I mean, he might even push McGovern off the team. That's how solid he is. Now, don't forget, with the undrafted free agent piece, they did try to get Donovan West, a center, and they ended up losing him to the Niners. They offered him a lot of money as far as undrafted free agents go, and the Niners gave him 50 grand more, and he went over there. It's a bummer because getting him as an undrafted free agent would have been a coup, man. I think in a year, 2 years, he's got starter written all over him. So they weren't looking in that area, but I don't know how much they want to move on from Connor McGovern. I think you got to look at it like this. The offensive line takes time to gel, right? It takes time. First year in the system, we saw our offensive line struggle. As the season went on, it settled down. Then the injury started, and we got the 8-sack game to close the season, right? We had, we had backup guard, backup tackle, backup center. So it was a whole different thing. But before that, they were really settling down and looking much more competent. And the pressures and sacks went down and everything. But so like in order for them to keep that going, you want to keep guys in the system, So if Connor McGovern's good, like he's above average, I think the value might be to keep him. Keep an above average guy, even though you might be able to get another one over here for cheaper, or maybe a little bit more upside or what have you. I think the value of having the line stay together as a cohesive unit might supersede bringing a guy in. But guys, keep your eye on that one. I think offensive line, center, and maybe tackle are some guys that you might see brought in. Depends on how much they like Chuma Edoga and Connor McDermott, right? Connor McDermott got $1.5 million. That's what Chuma Edoga is making too. So we just don't know. It's going to be interesting. Tell us about Westhoff. Well, BG the kid. Yeah, well, they were originally we were scheduled for June 2nd, but they had to reschedule to June 9th, which is 2 weeks. I don't know, not this Thursday, but the Thursday following. So Mike Westhoff's going to come on. They told me I asked if there was anything that he didn't want to discuss. They said, no, you can ask him anything you want. So I love Mike Westhoff. He's one of my favorite coaches. I was sad to see him go when he did. And interestingly, they interviewed him for head coach. Remember that? I was like secretly hoping he got it. Now, he might be a little bit more abrasive than maybe you wanted a head coach. I don't know. They didn't hire him. But I love Mike Westhoff, and I am sincerely fascinated with the ability to have his ear for a little while, to be able to talk to him. And I just got his book in the mail. I ordered it pre-order, and I got it in the mail. So I'm going to read that, so I'll know all about it before he comes on. But I'm psyched, man. I really am. I've been trying to get some new fresh guests. Like I'm trying to get some people on the Jets staff, that side. It's going to take some time. You just got to keep going, keep trying. Right. But yeah, Mike Westhoff's coming on. I think he's kind of doing a book tour right now. So I think I got fortunate timing, but I couldn't be more excited to have him. I think he's a great, for everybody I'm trying to think Westhoff coming for it was fantastic. Let's see. Jets Fan United. You guys know Jets Fans United has a chat board, like a message board and everything, which is where I come from. I come from message boards. That's what I was doing online for years before we had YouTube and everything like that. So Jets Fans United is a newer message board out there. You guys can check it out. Lots of guys in there and girls, I'm sure. He says this is his year to prove if he belongs long-term. The word I can't see anymore. My eyes are a mess. That's why I'm doing this. I look all close. I got to get an actual prescription here. So sorry about that. This year is his year to prove if he belongs long-term. The word is there is 4 next year they would target in the draft. 2 I know scout. Now I think you're talking about center. I think that's what you're talking about, Jets Fans United. But yeah, I mean, look, again, like I said in the last show, we're trying to get to know our GM, right? We're trying to get an understanding of his tendencies. Now, it's been hard to do so thus far. Like when you look at his first two drafts, there was a lot of moving back to acquire late round capital, obviously trading guys away for draft capital. Then last year or this year, we see him throw all the late round stuff away to move up and really get four top tier players, right? And then we had our fourth round picks, which we used on Max Mitchell and Michael Clemens, but we saw an entirely different take. 3 first round picks and an early set. We even traded up from 38 in the second. So we saw a very aggressive Joe Douglas. Now, my thought was that they didn't bring in an extra safety last year because this year's safety class was so strong. I really believed this. And as like I said, as we try to figure Joe Douglas out, he's throwing curveballs still. It's still very early in his tenure. He's only been doing this for 3 years, so we still have a lot to see with him. But I thought that the safeties and tight ends were going to be, this was a significantly stronger class in both of those positions than they were the year before. So I thought we were going to see at least one tight end and at least one safety. Now, we didn't see a safety. We did see a tight end. So I had it there. But I got to be honest, once he brought in 2 in free agency, I didn't think we'd use a third on a tight end. I thought we might wait till the 5th and use it on a tight end, get a Jake Ferguson, somebody like that, Cade Otton, one of those guys. But, he wanted Ruckert, so he used his 3rd round pick. So he's still a little bit hard to figure out. So to sign on to what you're saying, Jets Fan United, that there are guys in next year's draft, I like to think that Joe Douglas is paying attention to that. Like Joe Douglas knows, well, I'm not going to take a guard, let's say, in this class because it's a weak guard class, and next year is a great guard class, something like that. Now, interesting, last year's guard class was considered okay, but there was one guard that was light years ahead of everybody else, at least as far as their prospect status. And Joe Douglas made a move to make sure that he got that one guy, which is the same thing that happened this year with Jermaine Johnson, but really Breece Hall. We saw Joe Douglas throw caution to the wind and do exactly what he wanted to do because he wanted a specific player, not just the position. He wanted a player. So that happened with, obviously, Jermaine Johnson. They thought that they lost Jermaine Johnson. They were going to wait it out and just see who dropped, right? They were at the next tier. The fact that Jermaine Johnson and Karlaftis both slid that far, that's when they realized they could get aggressive and still get one of their top 10 players. So it's going to be hard to figure this out, but I'm curious. I really want to see what happens with the June 1st cuts tomorrow and like the next week and cut down day, like the 75 and all that. I'm really curious to see which positions they shuffle around. I'm interested because again, my goal as a fan, I like to understand. I like to try to understand what our franchise is doing. And look, they're secretive, right? We know that, as they should be. But so my job out here, at least my own thoughts, is my job is to try to disseminate exactly like what is he thinking? What will they do in these situations? What are they more likely to do? That's what I enjoy. Like I said, I like the story. I don't just love stats. I like stats, but I like the story, the circumstance, the context. That's what I like. And then with this, one of the most enjoyable things to me is to try to understand what our franchise is doing so we can see the plan, right? So that's what's so good. So anyway, I don't know what they'll do there. Let's see. Sean McAteer says Westco will probably get dropped as well. I have to think unless they want to use unless they really want to back up fullback, I have to think Westco is gone. It's going to be Westco or Yeboah. I mean, it has to be. Right now, if you look at last year, Westco was on the field before Yeboah was, but Yeboah was an undrafted free agent rookie. But I think Kenny Yeboah has significantly more upside. As much as I like Wesco, I have to admit I do. I think he has underappreciated hands, underappreciated skills, yard after the catch skills with the ball in his hand. And I think he's a good blocker. But he really had some clams last year when playing from the fullback position. Now, they largely abandoned that and they put him back at tight end. But even still, they rarely used him. They rarely used him. And I don't know why that is. Clearly, they don't think his hands are all that good. So I think that Wesco, unless we keep 4 tight ends and a extra fullback, I can't see Wesco making it. I find it hard to believe. Now, keeping Wesco and Yeboah like on a practice squad thing, okay, they can do that. But I think the Wesco is going to have to really prove something this year. Jets Forever, P. Ryan is running back 4, would be running back 3 if we didn't have Coleman. I completely agree with this. Now, Jets Forever, we have to admit, though, they didn't play him last year. He was healthy, at least I think he was, and everybody was injured. Tevin Coleman was injured, Michael Carter was injured, and even Ty Johnson was injured, and they were playing Austin Walter ahead of P. Ryan. Why? I don't know why. People like to say he's not a fit in the system, and I'll buy that to a degree, but P. Ryan is not so far on one side that he can't be utilized in this system. He absolutely can. He hits the hole. He takes the ball and hits the hole. That's what he does. He's not super fast. He's not super strong. He's not, but he has everything. He's a above average blocker. He's an above average receiver, and he can run. He's a very solid running back. So I'm really curious to see how that turns this year as well. I like P. Ryan. I like P. Ryan more than I like Ty Johnson. I like P. Ryan more than I like Austin Walter. And the truth be told, I like P. Ryan's upside in future more than I like Tevin Coleman. I think Tevin Coleman's better, but clearly they like Tevin Coleman on the team, and I can see why. But I think LaMichael P. Ryan should absolutely be running back 4. And if Tevin Coleman goes or somebody gets injured, he should be number 3. That's how I see it. But I don't know if they like these guys. The P. Ryans, the Zunigas, the Mims, the Becktons. I don't know. I don't know how they feel. It seems weird, doesn't it? It seems a little weird. Yeah, that's right, Salty. Westhoff is a master special team. Mastermind. But they handcuffed him later when they took away his wedge. Remember that? They took that away. That was his classic move, man. It was a classic move. Dino says they like Cager. I see you guys talking about Cager in here. Look, they like him enough to bring him back in. Don't forget, Joe Douglas did draft him. No, I'm sorry. He brought him in as an undrafted free agent. They did use him, too. There were enough injuries that Lawrence Cager got on the field. And Lawrence Cager got targets. And Lawrence Cager had receptions. The problem is with Lawrence Cager is the same thing happened that always happens with him. Sadly, he got hurt. So that's the sad thing about Lawrence Cager. Now, this is interesting because he supposedly gained, 20, 25 pounds or something of muscle. But I don't know. The guy, he couldn't stay healthy as a wide receiver. Now you want to put him in a position with more contact? I don't know. But maybe the muscle helps him. I don't know. I'm not an anti-Cager guy. I mean, 6'5". You'd love to be able to get your 6'5" guys on the field, right? You'd like to be able to keep those fellas. But I don't know. He says for practice squad. Yeah, I think that's fine, right? I just don't know how much you want to depend on Cager. Like, are you going to risk losing a Kenny Yeboah for a Lawrence Cager? I think that's not smart. That's me. And who knows? Maybe Cager turns it around and he ends up having, the next 5 years, he's not injured. Wouldn't that be great for the guy? It'd be great. But, I don't think so. Disregard Papa checking in. Thank you. He says, should we get a center or linebacker or safety in the next draft? Well, it's hard to predict at this point, right, Papa? It's hard to predict. But what I will say is Connor McGovern is in the last year of his contract. So even if they do choose to extend him, which I think they might, if they choose to extend him, he's still older, right? Like, isn't he 30? Let me see here. It might be 29. Govern age. Let me see. 29. So his birthday is April 27th. So he just turned 29, a couple weeks ago. Right. So he's not necessarily old, but he's around the 30 mark. So I don't know how many more years he has. So you definitely want to draft one. You definitely want to get one in here. That's why I really wanted Donovan West or Alec Lindstrom to come. I really wanted one of those guys. I did. So it's a shame that they couldn't seal the deal, because I'd love to have our backup center in the house. Now, an interesting one for me is I happen to like Ross Pierschbacher a lot more than a lot of other people do. He was a 4-year starter at Alabama. He ended up being a late round pick. I think he was a fifth round pick. He bounced around a little bit, but he's like a 4 or 5 year veteran now. He's same draft as Quinnen, so he's about to go into his 4th year. And I like him. I really do. I think he's the kind of guy that you don't necessarily want to have him as your regular starter, but he's the kind of guy that can come in for 2 games and play solid. Like, he's a really solid player, and we got him. He's on the team. So maybe they do feel like they have their guy already. Maybe they feel that way, man. Like Dan Feeney as the interim and Ross Pierschbacher as the next guy. Maybe they feel that way. I don't know, but I think we're going to draft one. I also think that we'll more than likely need a safety, but Papa, imagine if Pinnock is the real deal. Imagine. So then you have Pinnock and Whitehead backed up by LaMarcus Joyner and Ashton Davis and Elijah Riley. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden you have a crew. If Pinnock ends up being like the next Victor Green, granted Victor Green was a strong safety, I know, but same scenario where a guy that you didn't expect to be the guy comes in and ends up being good, like a good player, not just serviceable, but ends up being good. Maybe not. Maybe they don't then. But I think linebacker, I mean, you gotta think that they're going to address that soon, right? Even if Sherwood is the real deal. I think, CJ Mosley is getting older. You at least want to have the guy on deck. That's what I think. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Let's see here. Oh, Dino, well, come to the game, bro. Come on in. Let's break some bread, buddy. We had a good time at the, last year when we went to Coney Island, we did the Cyclone thing. Then we walked over to Nathan's, got Nathan's hot dogs, which is obviously classic in and of itself, right? Then we walked over and rode the other coaster. They have like 5, but we rode another coaster, the tallest coaster there, Thunderbird. And we did a Jets chant from the top of that too. And then we went over to L&B Spumoni Gardens and had the pizza and the Spumoni. It was an amazing day. So I'd love to break bread with you guys, man. It's fucking great. Let's see where we are. So, oops. Shit. What happened? Okay, here we go. Thomas Cahill checking in. Thanks, Thomas. He says, Green Bean, don't overlook Knight. We'll be running back 4. You know what's funny? I thought you were going to bring up the other guy, DQ Thomas. We were talking about it in the last chat. I asked Thomas. He said, you guys are sleeping on DQ Thomas. I said, well, why wouldn't we? And he said, or he's going to be, well, I forget how it went, but basically I said, tell me why we shouldn't sleep on him. He said, because I have a feeling. I said, oh, all right. Well, that's as good as anything I've heard, right? He's got a feeling about the guy. So why not? I mean, he's small, man. He's 215, I think. So, but again, you never know. But so he's talking about Bam Knight, the running back that we got as an undrafted free agent. And I think, hey, dude, if Bam Knight can push anybody off the roster, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, think about if you keep 4 running backs, and somebody's got to go to the practice squad. Okay, so let's say Bam Knight goes to the practice squad for a while, then Tevin Coleman gets injured like he does every single year, and then you got a stable of Breece Hall, Michael Carter, LaMichael Pirine, and Bam Knight. Dude, we're on to something. I'd love to have him as a developmental guy here for a few years, right? We did it with Leon. We did it with Leon Johnson too. We did it with Bilal Powell. Just keep him around. Let him sit, let him get a play here and there. Just work him in. By the time you put him on the field, he knows your system inside and out, and he comes in with the wheels already spinning. And I think that's going to be an interesting one. I liked that grab in undrafted free agency. Overall, guys, I'll be real honest. I was disappointed with our undrafted free agency. There were some safeties that were absolutely draftable that they didn't bring in. And there were some centers and tackles that were absolutely worthy of being brought in, and they didn't get any of them. So I was disappointed with our undrafted free agent class, but that doesn't mean I don't like a few guys in that batch. So, but, the truth is, guys, is that we already had a lot of guys under contract. We didn't have a lot of spaces. What are you doing? Look at this weirdo. Yeah, so Boozer's saying Bam Knight makes the roster too. I wouldn't be surprised. Old dude, I have to disagree, man. Now he says Ty Johnson is a better runner and pass catcher. He will play over Pirine and Coleman. Well, clearly they like him, but the problem is this: Ty Johnson is something that we call feast or famine. He's either a complete ghost or he has these electric plays. He had 7 dropped passes last year, 7, 4 of which were on third down. Okay, and he had a fumble or 2, I think. That part I'm not as sure on. 7 dropped passes, 4 on third down. Dude, you can't live that way. You know what I mean? 7. So think about that. 7 of Zach's drops were Ty Johnson. 3 of those or 4 of those drives stopped dead from Ty Johnson. We don't know what would happen after that. Ty Johnson is somebody I would rather have a little bit less potential for an explosive play by knowing my guy's going to be solid and not fumble and catch the ball than having Ty Johnson. I think Ty Johnson's too much of a liability, man. I would hope that he goes. Don't forget, man, he was cut by the Lions 3 years ago. He's been hanging around our stable for forever. And it's like, yeah, he's really fun sometimes with the ball in his hand. But damn, man, you got to deal with a lot of crazy negatives. And he sucks in pass protection. Sucks. He's terrible. What? What are you pointing at? I don't know which one you're pointing at. Hey, which one is he? What's up, Thomas Cahill's grandson? Who is he, Thomas? We got to do a proper hello. So just so we know, old dude, I was very hopeful about Ty Johnson, and the guy clearly has ball skills, like, running skills with the ball in his hand. But again, it's feast or famine, and he's really negative when he's negative. So I'm not into him. I'd rather see him go and keep one of the other guys. But clearly they like him. He's still here too. So there's that. Fresh legs all the time, right, Dino? So who is Thomas Cahill's? All right, here we go. Brian, the new Jets fan. Where is he? Brian Colangelo? No. Colangelo? We've seen Brian before. Let me see. Which one's Brian? Brian, new Jets fan, it says? I don't see him. Bryce McInerney just letting me know, reminding me that I'm a stud. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Mark Reed wants to know, Zach, under or over 20 touchdowns? I'm saying it right now. I'm very confident that it'll be over. I'm confident. And you guys know I'm a constructive guy. I'm not a homer. I lean homer, but I'm definitely not a homer. But I think Zach's going to throw for 20 and up this year. He only needs 230 yards a game to throw for 4,000. That's it. I'd like to see that, but I'm thinking more like a 35 plus, between 35 and 4. I think that'll be good. Which one's your son? Brian is 7. Okay, he's 7 years old. Okay, well, hello, Brian. It's good to have you here. We are all friends. We're friends with your grandpa. He's a good man. We like him. We like your grandpa in here. So I'm glad you're here too. Let me just say this. I know your grandfather's going to get mad at me in a second. But if you don't want to be a Jets fan, that's okay too. You're 7, you still have choices. Like this guy right here, he was a little kid. His mother is a Ravens fan. He grew up in Baltimore. So I tried to make him a Ravens fan because I love him. He wouldn't have it. Remember, we had Ravens pajamas and everything. I tried. I really did. I tried to save him.
Here's the thing, too. Would you rather be bad and expect it or be good but then lose in the playoffs nearly every year?
I'd rather lose in the playoffs. It makes the season more fun, right? At least you get happy days. We get nothing. But Brian, if you are going to choose to be a Jets fan with us, welcome aboard. We're a good group of people. Some of the best in the NFL. Jeremy checking in saying 28 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,999 yards. So that would be fantastic. Oh, imagine that, though. Imagine he gets 3,999. That would be so frustrating, wouldn't it? Like, come on. Come on. And you know, every NFL analyst would talk about they've went 30 years or whatever they still 50 years without a 4,000-yard passer. You know, they'd be talking about it, but in that way, that's what they do. Yeah, Brian's like, nah, it ain't me. I'm a 35-year-old suffering fan. Where'd it go? Victor Green. Yeah, you go, Victor Green. I loved Victor Green. See, he was a great story, man. He was a great story. That's why I root so hard for the undrafted free agents and late round picks, especially when they're guys that I did enough, like a nice round of, research on. Thank you. I love it when I know a guy really well. That's the thing too. Like with guys like Zuniga and Pirine and obviously Bryce Hall, like I was in on those guys. I liked them as late round picks. Thing is with Zuniga, I thought he was overdrafted. I was like, ooh, that's early for him. But I thought he was like a 4th. But Pirine I thought was a 5th too. So we took both of those guys around early. But then we got Bryce Hall in the 5th. So I was like, okay, I thought Bryce Hall was a 3rd. So, kind of worked out. So I'm all right. But that was an interesting draft because never, ever, ever did the Jets take who I think they should take. Never. That was like the first year. Let's see what else we got. VLE says, thoughts on Whitehead being ranked a better safety than Jamal Adams? Yeah, I'm in. You know what I mean? Look, I think here's something that I think is very real. Jamal Adams is largely a product of marketing. He's a good football player. He is. He's a good football player. He plays hard and all the stuff. But his leadership is way overrated. Way overrated. He throws people under the bus more than he raises the play of a team. And his impact on the game is lacking, man. He doesn't impact the game. He gets stats, but no interception. Last year, his 4th year, he finally got an interception from a starting quarterback. So that's nice to see, I suppose, even though I'm rooting for him never to get anything. All right. But just as realistic, not like throwing shade his way, Jamal Adams gets his plays in unimportant times. He very rarely, I think there's only like 1 or 2 plays that I can call back and remember, like the game was on the line and Jamal Adams crushed it. There's only 1 or 2 of those. And that's who he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be a game changer. So the fact that Jordan Whitehead was ranked over him, I don't know. But I think, I'm happy to see it. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely happy. Let's see. Travis Preheim says Hall and Carter combined for over 2,000. Now, when you say that, do you think 2,000 on the ground or total? Because I think if you're talking about total, I don't even think it's a question.
Ground is a big question.
It's questionable, but I think it's very possible. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be really hard for Zach to get 4,000 and 2 running backs to get 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to lean one way or the other. Either we're going to really rely on the running game and Zach Wilson takes his shots. Like, it's very healthy part of the game, but we're kind of mitigating how much we're going to put the game on his shoulders. So I think if we end up leaning run, which I think they want to, I think they want a nice, 12 personnel, even 22 personnel. I think they want to see that. Maybe even 13. Okay, so 3 tight ends out there. I'm telling you, I think we're going to see that. So I think that they're probably going to lean run. So if that's the case, do you guys think it's unrealistic for a running back like Michael Carter to get 1,000 yards in 17 games? Like if he plays, I think bringing Breece Hall on. Bringing Breece Hall on does 2 things. Number one, it raises the pedigree of the running back room, right? Like as much as we all love Michael Carter, and we do, Breece Hall's a different, as far as prospects go, he's a different level of running back. Breece Hall is the best running back that we've brought in here since Curtis Martin, and he's definitely the best running back draft pick that we've had since Freeman. That's how long it's been, guys. We had Lamont Jordan was a 2nd-round pick. We had Victor Green. Roger Vick back in the day was a 1st-round pick. But who else? We haven't drafted a running back this high since 2001, and that was Lamont Jordan. So before that, it's Freeman, man. I can't think of another guy. I'm not looking at it, but so when you think Breece Hall comes on and takes the heat off Michael Carter, just like his college dynamic, when he had Javonte Williams. So they were a 2-headed monster. So they're doing the same thing. They're replicating that, which will hopefully save Michael Carter's body, right? And then it gives us the ability to really focus on the running game, and not for nothing, like the running backs in the passing game too. Like, think about that. Breece Hall's known to be a good pass protector. So he stays in, he blocks for a second, peels off, hit him. The tight ends are downfield blocking. You got 6'3" Mims and 6'3" Corey Davis out there blocking whoever. And then you give it to Breece Hall with a head of steam. Dude, or Michael Carter, he had the 2nd most missed tackles created in the NFL last year. Like, guys, we have talent. So I don't think that's all that unrealistic, buddy.
For me, the Hall and Carter over 2,000 yards. The whole thing I think the whole reason that we're doing the split back thing is, Carter gets hurt a lot, so we want
3 times. Yeah.
We want to split the carries, and the thing is too, we want the defenses to game plan for 2 totally different backs.
Totally.
Because Breece Hall is more of the shifty.
Can you hear him?
Can you guys hear me? All right?
Yeah, keep going.
But Breece Hall is kind of the more shifty, juke the pants off you kind of guy, and Michael Carter's just to kind of run you over. I don't care what. I don't care.
Well, he's got some shake and bake too, though.
He does, yeah. But that's his main. He breaks tackles and he's good at it. And the thing is, like, when you game plan for just one of them, when they send out the other guys, like, oh crap, what the heck does he do again?
Yeah, so if you have them both out there, like Michael Carter and Breece Hall can block. They can pass protect. So you're not telegraphing to the defense that when this guy comes on the field, you're going to do this 9 times out of 10. Like, that's the thing. Like, when you have tight ends that can only do one thing, like, you bring on your blocking tight end. Everybody knows he's not going to catch a pass. So what do they know? They know he's blocking. Or if he's running, if he's not, he's just a decoy. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to think like that. If you have guys out there, like, let's say you do a 22 personnel, which is 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. You have, Conklin and Uzoma out there. And then you got Breece Hall and Michael Carter out there. And then you have, let's just say, Elijah Moore out there. So you got super quick Elijah Moore. You have 2 running backs that can protect, block, catch, run, and you got 2 tight ends who can do all those things as well. The defense has, and you can leave that package on the field. You can run numerous plays out of it. And that's what we want. We're always so pigeonholed. It's like the thing with Pirine his rookie year. You know that Adam Gase, when Pirine came on the field, they ran the ball 85 or above. I forget, it was 85 or above. Somewhere in they ran it 85% of the time. So everybody knew the tendency of the Jets is when LaMichael Pirine comes on, more than not, he's going to get the ball. So what are they able to do? They're able to key in. Like, we have to be able to have the same look out there and fool the defense. So you bring this look to combat that, and we're not even playing that offense. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And then you have 11 personnel where you can have, Uzoma, Conklin, whoever you want as a tight end out there. You have Brees Hall in the backfield, and you got Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Corey Davis. Like, dude, we can do anything from that look. You can do anything. You can run it. You can pass it. You can do anything you want.
The best part about having two backs is when you have split backs on the field, like when you have the QB and then the two backs beside of him. It's like, oh my God, we don't know what they're gonna do.
That's right. Remember the old wishbone formation, guys? I like wishbone. I like that stuff. Now, look, I'm just as excited as anybody else for like a high flying passing attack. Like, I really am. I love it. It's exciting. But I got to tell you, I like that stuff whenever we want to run it, we can get 5 to 10 yards anytime we want. I like that. I like being able to do that. So they have to key up there. They have to have big heavies in there. They have to have 8 in the box. They got to do it, or else we're just going to shred them. They got to do it, and that puts everybody one-on-one. So that's what I want to see. And look, Joe Douglas has done a fantastic job stocking this roster with talent. Dude, when's the last time we had talent like this? Yes, 2015, we hired a bunch of mercenaries, right? We had Eric Decker for a couple of years. We had Brandon Marshall for a couple of years. We had Chris Ivory for a couple of years. Curley was still here, but they didn't like him. They relegated him to punt. That was talent. They had a lot of talent, but they were hired guns. These are our guys. You have a couple, Corey Davis obviously was a free agent, and the tight ends, but like, look at this young core that we're stocking this quarterback with. We just got to protect him. We protect Zach Wilson and get him to be able to settle down and be comfortable back there. I think he's going to shred the NFL with this much talent.
I remember when we signed Curley. I remember that day, and I remember you going, "Oh my God, we signed Curley!" Like, I remember you being ecstatic.
Yeah. I love Jeremy Curley. I did. He was a 5th round pick. I was happy with. Iowa Jets fan, what's up, Reed? How you doing, buddy? He says we should run the power I. Yes, we should. That's right, man. Start bringing it back. Say, here's what we're going to do. We come out on the field. You got 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and a wide receiver. And you go, hey, we're going to punch you in the face over and over and over, and you're not going to be able to stop it. How's that sound? And then as soon as they bring in enough to compensate for it, you same look, run an entirely different offense out of it. That's what you want to see. Yeah. So Brandon McNeely says Uniga's a roster cut. Oh, he is, definitely. You know what's? I saw another comment that I forget who it was, but you said he's got to get his act together. I completely agree. Like I said, I liked the pick. I thought it was around early. I did, but I liked the player. I said, okay, good. But his one problem all through college was that he was injured. And then what have we seen from him in the NFL? He's injured. That's the big issue with him. So if he can't prove that he can stay healthy for 2/3 or 3/4 of the season, dude, he's got to go. It's your 3rd year. You need to be able to show what you can contribute to the team by year 3. Year 3 is it. If you can't do it by now, you got to go. We brought in Bradley and we brought in Jacob Martin. We still got guys like Tim Ward. We obviously brought in Michael Clemens and Jermaine Johnson. We still have Vinny Curry. Like, what you would want is at the end of training camp, this is optimal. At the end of training camp, your younger guys are so good. They look so great that you have to cut Vinny Curry and those guys. That's what you want. Now, I'm not saying I want to cut Vinny Curry, but Vinny Curry around the team for all training camp. Okay. He's excited and everything. He's a leader. He's helping. But your young guys, Bradley and Zuniga, Bryce Huff, they're playing so strong. You just can't ignore it. And you got to let the old vets go. That's optimal. What you don't want is that Zuniga and Bryce Huff and Bradley and I are so weak that keeping Vinny Curry is the smart move. You want your young guys to be able to put up. That's what you want.
Even if he wasn't hurt, like you were saying, we actually have a very good edge rushing room. We got Bryce Huff, Carl Lawson.
Yeah.
We just got Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin in free agency. We got Jermaine Johnson. We got all these types of guys, and it's like even if he wasn't hurt, it's a strong room to beat. For the roster spot.
Right. And we don't know what any of these guys could actually do, right? Truth is, we don't even know what Carl Lawson can do. He tore his Achilles last year. All right. Like we do, as much as we're confident and think great and all the highly of him, we don't know what he can do. So we need to see it, right? We need to see what he can do. That said, we all have high hopes for Carl Lawson, right? Work ethic, second to none. If anybody's going to come back, it's him. Fine. But we don't know what he's going to give. We don't know what Jabari Zuniga is going to give because he's always friggin' hurt. We don't know what Bradley and I is going to give us. We don't know what Jermaine Johnson's going to be his rookie year in the NFL. Go ahead, let us know. Why are you guys out here? Both my kids are out. What is this? No, it's 11:30. What's going on?
I was watching that movie and it
freaked you out.
No,
he decides to watch it in the middle of the night. I said, dude.
No. I started it at 4 and then like I went
doesn't matter
for like an hour. But here's the thing. The screen time went in with like 15 minutes left in the movie.
Oh, good. I'm not. Yeah. You shouldn't be watching scary movies at night. You shouldn't. Anyway, I understand you started earlier. Why are you awake? Did you guys brush your teeth? Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Go brush your teeth right now and get in bed. You PJs, everything. Go take care of that. And then you can come back out. All right.
Bye, people.
See this? But like, so anyway, the point is that the defensive end guys, look, we're all so happy about Michael Clemens, right? We all love him. We love his look. We love everything about him, the way he handled the press conference. But let's be real. Michael Clemens has a lot of limitations. That's why he made it to the fourth round. He's got a lot of potential, big, strong, fast, long, all those things, but he's very limited in what he can offer. So Michael Clemens might come in the league and struggle and never be able to break through. We don't know. Jermaine Johnson too. Maybe Jermaine Johnson, all he is he's a good edge setter, good against the run, but he never develops as a pass rusher. We don't know. So that's the thing. We have all these guys, but we don't really know what they're going to do yet. That said, this is this edge room has more potential than any edge room we've had since at least the Sons of Anarchy, right? That's the last time. We've had good players here or there, but as far as the whole defensive line and then the edge position in particular, we haven't had guys like this in forever. And that's all we can do right now. So, Jets mess, he's saying the clown. Yeah. Is that you talking about it? Or are you calling me a clown? I never knew. Oh, yeah, he's talking about that. Jets mess, man. It's good to see you, buddy. Floss, too. That's right, Steven. That's right. Don't forget to floss. It's a funny thing with kids and brushing their teeth. Like, it seems so logical to me now. But I remember as a kid, if my mother didn't tell me for years, I'd go a month. Like, it's like, I don't know. I just didn't, it's like an obligation I didn't want to do. Now I'm like, of course you want to brush your teeth, man. You don't want, you want to keep your teeth, but they're kids. They're kids. The new one, Big Green, the new it, the latest one. Not part 2, but the latest it, part 1. I got to move my seat here. Hold on. There we go. This is better. Okay. Oh, I'm sitting on the corner, I'm sitting on the edge of a seat here. Let's see. Yeah, the Green Bean and his Offspring show. The Sprouts. Let's see. Alex Cross checking in. He says, I'm a Finns fan, but enjoy you guys. God bless. Well, thanks, Alex. Ain't nothing wrong with opposing fans' teams coming in for a chat, right? It's when you come in and troll that it's like, well, I don't know. Why would you do that? But yeah, some of my best friends in the world are Miami fans. It's the truth. I grew up with them, you know. All the Jets games I went to with Miami in town, I always had a couple Miami fans with me. Always, they're my buddies. So I'm with it. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, you guys are. Yoshi's asking too. He's like, which it you guys watching? Yeah, Carl Lawson will shred. That's what we're hoping. Smash you. That's what we're hoping. Right. What would be amazing is that if Carl Lawson is this year who we thought he was going to be last year, if he comes out and is that guy, and Jermaine Johnson is that top 10 player that we thought he was, where we had him rated. If Jermaine Johnson comes out and he's a premier edge rusher, and Carl Lawson comes out and he's a premier edge rusher, Quinnen Williams and JFM are going to completely destroy the center of that line. I'm telling you, man. If they have to like double and really focus on those guys on the end, Quinnen's going to feast. That's why I'm predicting. I'm getting yelled at on Twitter right now. People take it so seriously, man. I don't know what's wrong with people sometimes, but I'm getting yelled at on Twitter. I said, Quinnen Williams is going to get 14 sacks this year. Now, you don't think I know that that's high, but there's a reason I'm saying it. I think that he got 7.5 last year, right? If I remember correctly. That was on a bum ankle for the first chunk of the season. Don't forget, he had foot surgery and all that. He took him a few weeks, and he had no one else on the line. We had Shaq Lawson and Bryce Huff. You know what I mean? We didn't even have Vinny Curry. Even Ronald Blair came in later in the season. We had JFM playing on the outside. We had Bryce Huff, rotation. Shaq Lawson, Bryce Huff, JFM on the outside. Who else? Who else did we have? Threw in some Zuniga action when he was healthy. We didn't have the healthiest rotation. So Quinnen Williams was out there alone in many respects. So this year, not only are there other guys, but it's like we say, right? It's not only about who you have, it's about who else you have. That's the trick. That's the trick. Who else do you got? So yes, we have Quinnen Williams. He can be an upper echelon guy. He's got the talent, he's got the drive, he's got the work ethic, he's got the mindset, the character. It's all there. But guess what else he needs? He needs another guy. He's not Aaron Donald. No one else is. He's not Ted Washington. You know what I mean? He's not Chris Jenkins. Brian Colangelo says the Becton hate is so unwarranted. I really don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand why we wouldn't support our player. I don't understand. First round pick, looked fantastic his rookie year, got rolled on, and we hate him. I don't understand it. It doesn't compute. The only thing that's in there is that Rich Cimini and Connor Hughes both talked negatively about him being fat, about him being lazy, and that those have never been traits of his. Same thing with Mims. They did the same thing with Mims, and everybody hates them. My biggest hope is that both of those guys come back and make everybody eat their words. That nothing would make me happier this year, except Zach throwing for 4,500 yards. You know what I mean? But yeah, dude, I really don't understand that one. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Jets Forever says Johnson will have 17 sacks. Hey, if he has 17 sacks, Quinnen's having 14. I'm telling you right now. That's the way it's going to go. Yoitz Vin has Williams at 11.5. Yeah, I'm thinking 10 up. I think 10's the floor. If the team stays healthy, and you guys, if you didn't watch this week's podcast, I talked a lot about that. Imagine this is literally strange for us as Jets fans. Just imagine if the team we built actually was there taking the field on opening day. The draft picks that we drafted, the free agents that we brought in, the guys we've been developing. Imagine the team that we built, on paper. If the team we have on paper is actually available opening day, that would be life-changing alone for us. We have not had that in a long time. Dude, even 2015, as great as Fitzpatrick ended up being, he was not the plan. The plan was Geno Smith. We had a young, strong-armed quarterback who was mobile. He had a one of literally the best game of his career, the last game of the year preceding that, 2014, right? With Rex's last game. I was at that game in Miami. Geno Smith lit it up. Looked great. So they built him a team. He had Eric Decker. They got him Brandon Marshall. We had Chris Ivory. He had a good offensive line. We still had the Brickashaw, Ferguson, and Mangold in the house. We had Brandon Moore, I think, still. But anyway, the goal was to have a young gunslinger at quarterback. Instead, because he got his jaw broken in the locker room, we started Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's crazy. You know what I mean? But like every year we have key players that don't even show up for opening day. We don't even have our team opening day. So if we could just do that, when speaking about the defense, if our defensive line that we've constructed can actually play at 100%, like they're all healthy, week one, it's going to be an entirely different season. Now, obviously, you got to stay healthy, but my point is that they are healthy, because usually it starts for us in preseason. Guys are out. It's crazy. Don't forget, too, last year, the opening day game, we were starting our offensive line together. That was their first time playing together, I think, ever. Right? They might have had a few practices together, but there was always one or two of those guys that wasn't playing. That week, they were all healthy, but they were on the field together for the first time. Week one. And we saw it. And it looked every bit of it. What's up, Toy Subs Videos? Good to see you. That's what I'm thinking, Hennessy. Hennessy Heisman. Whoever they double, the other guys will feast. That's what I'm thinking. No, Tin Star, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I don't want to see JFM on the outside either. JFM is very similar build and makeup to Sheldon Rankins. He's a penetrating 3-tech. That's what he is. He doesn't have the bend to be a successful outside guy. He's strong. He's good. He's not like a big, huge, space clogging defensive tackle. But putting him at 3-tech, he's a penetrator. And he is big and strong enough to clog it somewhat, but that's not his game. But we want him and Quinnen Williams inside. If we have Jermaine Johnson and Carl Lawson on the outside and they're getting penetration, they're forcing the quarterback up, Quinnen Williams and JFM should be able to feast. Dude, if we do that, it's a whole different season, my friends. Jets Fans United says maybe not 14, but I do see him over 8. Yeah, I'm saying 14. I'm saying 14 sacks. So I'm with it. I'm sticking with it. We'll see. I told a bunch of people when it happens, you better come back and say you're sorry being so mean to me, you bastards. Let's see. Yeah, I know, honey. It says not all. I know. I'm with you. But it's enough. It's enough of us. I just don't understand how anybody could feel that way. I don't get it. I think a lot of fans, one is, look, and it makes a lot of sense. We're beaten down, man. We're weather worn, we're tired as fans. Every year trying to get excited. You already know the rug's going to get pulled out from under you, so why get excited? I get that. I really do. And then you got the other side of that is the younger generation. They look at this through Madden analytics. That's how they're looking at it. And they think, if this guy doesn't play, fucking trade him, get him off, get this other guy. Like, they would rather shuffle the guys around every week and build another team. It's fantasy football, Madden, that kind of stuff. So I understand. I do. I just got to give draft class 3 years. That's what you know. Fear the beard. Like, seriously, fear that ball of scruff. I'll fuck up your quarterback plans in less than 1 game. Fear the beard. There it is. Let's see. Yeah, me neither, Rob. I really don't. And I don't understand the Mims either. Like, when you look at his young career, last year was the anomaly. Last year's one bad year. Like, okay, we're allowed to, so, and he had food poisoning and COVID during it, and was changing staffs, and all the stuff. Can we give him more than 1 year? I don't know. Now, I don't know if this coaching staff really doesn't like him or not. I honestly don't know. It seems that way. It seems like they might not like him and P. Ryan, but we don't know what the deal was. Maybe they already knew, like, hey, they're just not right this year. We're going to wait. They're young bodies. We're going to keep them. So I don't know. That could be the way it is too. I really don't know. You talking to me? No, Lawson is with the team. I know he's with the team. I'm not. I think you might be talking to somebody else. Let's see. So Ruggs New York says we were negative 13 in the turnover ratio. If Zach and our defense can get on the plus side, oh boy, think about that, man. Negative 13. We're 13 in the hole. Right? And the sad part about it is that some of those interceptions were fucking terrible passes by Zach. Some of those interceptions hit his receiver's hands first. And then you got our defense that seemingly doesn't know how to turn the ball over. So if that flips, and think about this, if our team is healthy, which I know is a big ask, but we're working on it. Joe Douglas completely gutted and revamped the whole medical program. So you got to give them some time too. Last year was their first year together. First year with the players, everything. You already see the benefit. Zach Wilson came back at 221. He left at 208, all because of nutrition. That's what he said. Focus on nutrition. So that's because of our staff. So who knows? Maybe it all turns around, right? But if we could, so we know that we're addressing it. Now, if that sticks and the team is actually healthy, and we can even up the turnover ratios, you don't even got to be a plus, just somewhere around even. So we're hanging. Those two pieces alone can change the season. Can absolutely and totally change the season. Look at this guy. He's back. Let's see. Chris Bradigan says exactly. Thank you, Chris.
Is always right.
That's what I tell him. Really, Tin Star. I don't, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. And the whole thing with, they say just because someone starts doesn't mean that they're not going to play the most and everything. It's just what they're going to come out with. It might be the best alignment for that, right? So we don't know. But I would be surprised if Vinny Curry is the starter. I would be surprised. Not blown away. I think Jermaine Johnson's got to be the starter. If he's healthy, he's got to be. But I do get it. The rest, I'm with you. I'm with you. What's that?
Curry is more of a rotational guy, and I think he's just a guy there that also teaches the young guys. Vinny Curry. I don't think he's like a starter.
Yeah, I don't think he's starter either. And like you said, but he's known as just a great impact, like a good leader. If you're going to talk this way.
All right.
You teach. Yeah, you teach to help. Yeah, as like a player coach. Yeah. I think so.
I want Larry Fitzgerald.
No, I know he's been talking about Larry Fitzgerald for 3 years now. I have.
He has the most reliable hands.
I get it, but he's done. He's done. We don't need it. We're good. We're good. I have Q. I just twisted. I have Quinnen Williams back for some time. I have had Quinnen Williams back for some time and caught grief also. I tell them, watch the film. If they can't double team him every down, he will dominate. Yeah, dude. I like Quinnen. I do. Now, I didn't like the pick. I've showed you guys. I've shared that with you many times. I didn't. I was disappointed that we chose to go that way. As much as I liked him, and he had elite traits coming out of college, but it was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe Mike Maccagnan is using 2 top 5 picks essentially on defensive tackles 4 years apart when we have no team. You know, I wanted to trade back and grab Jonah Williams, or Bradbury. That's who I really wanted, the center, Bradbury. But I would have been happy if we stayed at 3. I wanted Josh Allen, the edge rusher. That's what I wanted. And so anyway, that all said, I love Quinnen as a player, and I'm disappointed just like everybody else. Like, I wanted him. Okay, if we're gonna take him, I want the next Aaron Donald. But I still think he's got it. He's still very young, man. He's not old. Let me double check here.
I wouldn't say he's Aaron Donald.
Let's see. Dude, Quinnen Williams is 24 years old and he doesn't turn 25. Oh, man. He doesn't turn 25 until December. Dude, that's nuts. 24. So you think how young these guys are. You know what I mean? Like Denzel Mims is 25 now, I think. Right? I think he might be 24. 24, I think. Quinnen Williams is 24. Who else was I was just thinking of somebody else. Like, but then you have all the guys. Michael Carter, Elijah Moore. Like, dude, these guys are so young. We got to give them time to become men in the NFL. That's crazy to me. That Quinnen Williams is 24. I thought he was at least 25. Isn't that nuts? He's not even going to be 25 until the end of the season. What was it, December 21st? Is that what it was? He's a Sag, baby. That's Sag territory. That's me. I'm a Sag. Let me see. How old is Carl Lawson? Let me see. I think he's 27. Yeah, I think. He's 26 and he'll be 27 in a month. A little less than a month from right now. So he's 27 years old. He'll be 27 when the season starts. Now, John Franklin Myers is 25. Sheldon Rankins is 28. Let me see John Franklin Myers. When's his birthday? John Franklin Myers is September, so he'll be 26 midway, the beginning of the season. Why is she in here? What is this? Who else we got? Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff is 24. Right? It's crazy how young we are, guys. Yeah, Corey Davis. Let's take a look at Corey Davis. How old is Corey Davis? He is 27. CJ Mosley is 29. I think of CJ Mosley as like an old man, you know? Mekhi Becton is 23, dude. Why are we giving up on these guys so early? Quinnen's 24. Mekhi Becton's 23. I think Denzel Mims is 24. Let me see. 24. And he turns 25 in October, so halfway through the season or so. You know what I'm saying? What in the world would lead us to believe that 22, 23, 24-year-old players are done? Like, these guys play into their 30s. Isn't it crazy? Come on, jump on this with me, you bunch of nuts. Michael Clemens says, I'm actually older than Quinnen Williams, and you guys are higher on me than him. Thank you, Michael Clemens. Right? Michael Clemens talking logic over here. Let's see how old Michael Clemens is. Spells his name weird. Yeah, did you guys know that? Michael Clemens spells his name Micheaer. L instead of A-E-L. Michael. Yeah, he spells it backwards. So be careful. He's 2024 August. So no, yeah, no, he is. He turns 24, 25 earlier. Yeah. So Michael Clemens is 24, right? And he'll be 25 in August. So he'll be 25. Yeah, he's a few months, 4 months older than Quinnen. Zach, that was funny. Wait, where are you? Wait, where was it? Hennessy says Zach is 15, right?
You see how young
he's,
he is?
He's young. You know how cute
He's
that
just a
kid
year
is?
older than me.
Let me see what I got here. I got any Zach Wilson? Look at this. Look at these two guys. So look, I don't have any Zach. I got this guy though. Mike F. and White. I got Mike.
Punch in my face.
What's
Stroking
this?
your beard. Oh, can you get it in perfect? Down a bit. Down a bit more.
There we go.
Bit more.
No. I'm looking at the hat on top. Got it for my eyes. It's backwards. Here I am.
Hey!
Oh, I got to tilt my head down. Look. Look, I got the eyebrow. You can't see. Oh, it's the wrong eyebrow. I can't do that eye. Interesting.
The picture lies.
What else we got here? I got a little Elijah Moore action. Let me do this.
You're my favorite receiver.
Oh, Elijah Moore. I'm so excited about him.
Oh, dude.
We got these two guys, Elijah Moore, Joe Flacco, right?
Old and young.
Vinny Curry. There he is.
There he is.
Got Joe Douglas. That's the king.
Ah, yes.
That's the king of the
Man, you
roost.
should animate it like a crown.
I can't. Yeah. I move him over here to get him out of the way a little bit. Right? This is my first take at it. I said, wait a second. I move him over. Here, look at this guy.
The best left tackle we've had since.
Dude, I can't believe it. He's 23 years old. And we are attacking him as if he's a 30-year-old bust. You know what I mean? Even like 26. Like he's 23. I hope this guy just stays healthy. If he stays healthy, I'm telling you right now, I have every confidence in the world that he's going to be dominant. Dominant. Oh, he's so good. Look at this one.
With,
Look at that guy, guys.
JFM
JFM.
gone. No, not JFM.
GVR.
GVR, yeah.
Look at Sauce. Who else we got? Who's that? Oh, we got that guy. Remember him? That's when we were. I made that when we were talking about trading for him. What's this one?
Pacifier guy.
Oh, yeah. What a crappy list this is.
I can't believe Mark Ingram actually made it on the list.
Yeah, but the thing is, so think about this. You have Tiki Barber at the eighth best back of all time, ahead of Curtis Martin. I mean, ahead of all the other guys. But Curtis Martin is not on the list. Tiki Barber is the 8th of all time. That's what I mean. Like, see, paying attention to these things sometimes is just silly. So there's this guy.
Yeah, we love him.
Scratch my nose for me? Sure. Not you. All right, and this one. There he is. That's right. All right. So, okay. Right. Isn't it though, Chris? Isn't it good? Let me see what happened. Oh, he's talking about it.
Okay. Oh, I was just about to say that. Yeah, sure. I'll dream of you instead of that creepy clown.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Jets forever. I mean, you know, I don't always agree with you, but I agree with that one. I do. Zach Wilson, 25 plus touchdowns, and I'm happy. Me too.
Funniest thing is he's going to get 24. How dare he?
So, what else we got here? Let me get this overlay out of here for a second. Okay. Twisted says the biggest issue with this team is me learning all the new numbers. Trust in the Jets this year. They will gel and be a force. I agree. And I agree about the first part of that, dude. not only do we have to remember all new players and everything, which it's been a lot, it's been tough these last 2 years. But in addition to that, they're all going to have weird numbers. So, like, Jermaine Johnson might have 11. Sauce Gardner's number 1. DJ Reed is number 4. Like, we're probably going to see a kicker with the number 65 or something. You know what I mean? So it's weird in addition to that, too.
Question. As an old fan, how weird is it that cornerbacks and wide receivers are wearing single-digit numbers?
What's that?
Since you're like a super old fan, how weird is it to see cornerbacks and wide receivers wearing single-digit numbers?
Yeah, that's weird. It is for me. Single-digit wide receivers are weird. Remember, like when Keyshawn wore number 19, it was like bizarre. It was so cool. It was like, yes, it's like the first, at least in our sphere of consciousness. Let's see. I'm going to do a couple more comments. I'm ready for bed. Hawk, what's up, Hawk? I like 72 for Clemens. It's a big, ugly number. Rucker having 89 is perfect, too. I like Ruckert having 89. 72, it's a bit off for an edge, right? It's a bit off, but it's a big ugly number. It's usually the run stuffer's number. So your main run stuffer has 72 on his chest, right? But I'm with it too. Go ahead, take 72 and change the story. Let's do it. Let's do it. Jets Forever said he wants Ruckert in 88, but you know who has 88, Jets Forever, don't you? You know who took it? Who has 88? You guys know? And it is Yeboah.
Nice.
At least that's the story. The story is Yeboah changed from 83 or 86. I think he had 83 to 88. I love it. If he puts on 88, that means the Jets are confident that he's going to be a factor in the offense. You know what I mean?
It means something.
Yeah. So I like 17 on Wilson. I think that's great. You like 5, I bet, right? But hey, Mike Effin White's got 5, and that jersey's in the Hall of Fame. He's keeping it. You know what I mean? He's not going to start changing. He's going to try to build on that. So I get it. He did something with that jersey, man. Got to give it to him. I like 17. Let's see. Wilson to Wilson's going to surprise. There you go. Yeah, I think so too. But the whole thing is we just got to have guys, right? Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, that can get open, that can literally beat the guy. They can beat the cornerback. If that's the case, if Zach Wilson is protected, I think he's going to hit him. That's what I think. He might start a little bit shaky, but I think this season's going to be great. I would love it if Zach came out week 1 and was a new quarterback. That's what I would like. Jay Perez. What's up, Jay Perez? Thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, I have doubts that Saleh will be able to manage the talent. Will he allow the team to take risks, knowing that if it doesn't work, it's on him? Trust the young team. May know what they're capable of. You know what? I'll tell you, Jay Perez, I'm actually with you there. Saleh, to me, is one of the reasons that I'm tentative. I think we have talent. I'm not so sure. Like, there's a few moves, and there's just a few decisions so far that I've been like, why? Now, I'm not in there, and I don't know. But I think that Robert Saleh I have hope. I do. I have hope for him, but I'm not convinced. I'm not all that confident in him yet. I like his leadership. I like the respect. I like how that he's, leads by example. I like all that stuff, but I'm not convinced yet. I'm not anti, but I'm not convinced. And that's the scariest part. I think Joe Douglas is doing a bang up job bringing talent in here. You know what I mean? Balancing the budget well, getting rid of guys that are me guys. He's taking care of all that. Robert Saleh's got to be able to, just like you said, he's got to manage this talent. He's got to manage the team. and he's got to keep his coordinators thinking similarly. We have to be on the same page. And if the coordinators are slipping one way or the other, he's got to be able to confident enough to step in. So I'm with you. Now, that said, I don't feel anti. Like I don't feel like he's a liability. I'm just not convinced yet. That's it. And that's fine. That's fine. Will he be able to manage it all? Thing is this, I did see progress. I thought he was managing the game better later in the season than he was early. Early in the season, I thought he was lost. I really did. And he probably was. That's got to be a whirlwind. And not only is it just, first time head coaching in the NFL, it's first time head coaching in the NFL for the fucking Jets. You know what I mean? The Jets with us. You know what I mean? Deconstructing every blink, every move with his head. Hey, what's that mean? That's who we are. So I don't know. I'm with you though, buddy. I really am. That said, I think he's the kind of guy to work on it though. Like he's not somebody who's, at least the way he presents, he's not somebody who's so stubborn that he can't get around things and learn. I think he's learning. That's my thought on him. So thank you. Jordan Snow checking in. Thanks, Jordan. He says, we stacked up corners, also defensive line. Rumor has it we're putting some DBs on safety. You think we will make some of the defensive linemen's linebackers? Well, Jordan, I don't think it's going to go the other way. Like if you see Salah's track record is that he likes light and fast linebackers. He's already taken 2 in the draft. Not him, but Joe Douglas and him, right? They already took 2 safeties, Jamian Sherwood and Hamza Nasruddin, and converted them to linebackers. We also saw Marcel Harris get brought in. He's very similar. The undrafted free agent that we brought in at linebacker, DQ Thomas, he's 215 pounds. So I think he likes it. He goes that way. Even CJ Mosley lost a bunch of weight to play for Salah, So I don't think it would go D-line backing up to linebacker. I think it's safeties going up. Now, as far as defensive backs playing, cornerbacks playing safety, we're seeing it. We're seeing it with Jason Pinnock. That looks like a legit thing that they're doing. He got the first team reps and OTAs. Doesn't mean anything long-term other than that they at least wanted to look at him there, and they played him there last year. So we have our guy already, Now, as far as the rumors that you hear, like Bryce Hall's going to play safety, I don't think that he would have a problem play. I think he would be a good safety. I really do. But we haven't seen anything that says that he's going to do that. So I don't know where that comes from. But the one thing I can say, clearly they're not afraid to take positions and move them one way or the other. Players that are safeties make them linebackers, players that are cornerbacks make them safeties. We're already seeing it, so we know that it's possible with this staff. So I don't know, but I don't think we'll see defensive linemen ending up linebackers again. I think it's the other way. Like we could have took Leo Chanel when we took Breece Hall. We didn't. We could have took Nakobe Dean when we took Breece Hall too. But so any way that they wanted to go linebacker, they could have did it, and they didn't. Even later, there was Brandon Smith was still there. There's a few guys, and we chose other players. We chose Ruckert over him. So it looks to me like they like the young, light, faster linebackers. If Sherwood's healthy, Salah loves him. That's the guy that's his main experiment, in my opinion. He wants to make Jamian Sherwood an NFL linebacker. Remember, Salah said he belongs. So that's his pet project, is Jamian Sherwood. And then he ruptured his friggin' Achilles. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. Because don't forget, we're all expecting a competitive season. We're all expecting the team to turn around. That doesn't mean that they're done with the build. You know what I mean? Like they left linebacker and safety off of the free agent and draft list. I mean, they brought in safety Jordan Whitehead. They re-signed LaMarcus Joyner. But this was a strong safety class, and they didn't get one. This was, where we were picking, there was quite a few very, very good linebackers. They didn't take them. And they didn't bring in any premier linebacker or safety in free agency either. Jordan Whitehead they did, but no linebacker. So I don't know. Yeah, but Hennessy, here's the problem with that. A defensive lineman can't have 11. Linebackers can have 11, but if JJ is going to be a 4-down lineman, he can't have 11. I don't know how they'd get around that. It's not allowed. So I think Denzel Mims, if it's allowed, go ahead, Mims, give it up and go take 15. Who's got 15? The kicker. You know? Pinheiro. He's got 15. You say, dude, let go of 15. Nobody cares what number you are. You know what I mean? Really. You let Denzel Mims go back to his college number, 15. He also had 5, but there's a line for 5. Mike F. and White has it, and we have Garrett Wilson, number 2. So I don't think he's getting 5, but I'd love to see Denzel Mims in 15. Start a push reset, bro. Just push reset on the Adam Gase and COVID food poisoning years. Put them behind you. Get on a new, fresh number. Gained muscle and everything. He's working his ass off. Push reset and light this NFL up. Go ahead. Become the wide receiver 1 that you're supposed to be. Go. He's a linebacker. That's what I'm saying. No, he doesn't. No, they bring him up to the line, but his position is linebacker. Like if we're a 4-3 and you have him down on the line the whole game, that's a defensive lineman. They're not supposed. Now, maybe the NFL's not that strict and they'll let him get around it. That's fine. I'm just saying, when you look up the numbers, what positions are allowed, defensive linemen are not allowed to have teams. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Brian. Brian says, Quan Alexander, I think if Deion Jones gets cut, he's the guy. That's what I think. But tomorrow, it's June 1st as of right now. Let's see what happens. There could be guys getting cut right now. Yeah, today is a day where certain salary cap ramifications come into play. So if you cut somebody before June 1st, that has guaranteed money. It has to be right now. If you wait till June 1st, you can spread it out. So a lot of guys are going to get cut. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are going to get cut. So I think if Deion Jones gets let go, he's going to be the guy that they want. If some other players are not around, I think Quan Alexander is also on the table. But I think Ogunjobi's on the table too, man. Everybody forgot about it, but he's an interesting player. He really is. Right. I agree. JD's not done. Right, let's go, Joe D. Right. Joe D. Joe D. That's the way it's got to be. Joe D's good. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. I'm exhausted today. I got to go to sleep. I have to write a bunch of blogs and everything tomorrow. So long day. But I'm grateful that we had this time together, man. This was good. You hear my voice. I'm like all talked out. My throat's starting to get a little bit sore. I'm just talking. So, all right. But listen, I want to thank you guys for being here. If you haven't hit like on the video, please do. It's appreciated. You're here. I know you're having a good time. Go ahead and hit like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, no time like right at this exact moment. Hit subscribe. And if you'd like exclusive content, more access, a lot of hangouts with me, thank you. I'll get it. Thanks, though. You can join the Beanbaggers with the link in the description. If it's not in this description, go ahead and look at another video. It's in everyone. But I did this one fast. I don't remember if I did it or not. But anyhow, guys, either way, I'm glad that you're here with us. And I hope you have a good rest of the night. So we have one more super chat that came in. Got a late one from Jordan Snow checking in. He says, do you think we should run a 5-2 defense and drop an edge back? I like Sherman a little and Little Williams, but we keep getting 6'3" athletic freaks. 5-2. I don't see that. I think they would bring in, I mean, they might. I don't see it. I think that they're going to have an extra back on the field and do like a cornerback blitz, that type of thing. I don't think they're going to bring in another defensive lineman and put him on the line. I think it's more inclined to see 2 linebackers and 5 DBs. You know, that's what I think is more likely. Now, could we see it? Yes, but don't forget last year there were numerous plays where we dropped defensive linemen in coverage, namely JFM and Bryce Huff, and both of them got beat for touchdowns. So I don't know. I mean, Leck, you can do that sometimes, but I think having your 4 down linemen, and then the 2 backers and then 5 DBs is a little bit more up their alley. And again, Salah, I'm a big linebacker guy. I like big linebackers. I like them fast, but I like a nice 240. That's what I like. 245. Salah's all about the 215 to 225s. That's the 230 is heavy for him. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Now I could be wrong, of course, but that's what I'm looking for. Let's see. Okay. Yep. Well, thank you, Rob. And thanks to all you guys, man. I appreciate it. Thanks to the super chats as well. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And with that, whoop. I'm over. I just lost everything. Hold on. Bear with me. Just a split second. I got to clean it up. All right. With that all said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. June 1st is today. Let's see what happens. And we'll talk later. Good night, everybody.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.
He's gonna be in the net. I see some gas off the edge. Get that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop, you're finished. Hey, first down. These are weird. Worse than that side.
Like when a Jet player leaves, I want him to fail. When Sean Ellis, I loved Sean Ellis. When he went to the Patriots, I hated his face. Darrelle Revis, I hated him. And when we traded Darrelle Revis to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off that knee surgery, we played them game 1 that year, the following year. I think we should have thrown at Revis every single play. It should have opened with it, and we should have tested that knee right off the gate, and he would have been unable to handle it because, as we know now, with hindsight, he was not 100%. He was on the field. We could have exploited him and made that trade look even better. That's how I roll. I love Jets fans. You name one other organization that deals with the shit that we deal with and is still this passionate. Sure, you got the little segments, the dog pound. But look at the Patriots fans. They just had 20 years of there are kids, there are 20, 21-year-old, 25-year-old people in this world that are Patriots fans who have never known losing. Never in their entire lifetime. They were born into this Belichick-Brady thing, and they have consistently won. They've won 6 Super Bowls. They've been to 9 or whatever it is. And then when they didn't get in there, they were the AFC Championship game or the semifinals or whatever. And what happens the year that Tom Brady leaves? Dude, you have droves of people leaving the Patriots. These are diehard Pats fans. This is what they have. Diehard Pats fans going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Why? Because I'm a fucking fan of Tom Brady. Bullshit. What is that?